My mom kicked me out at 16. Now she wants me to hand over my lake house to my pregnant sister. I still remember the night it happened. I was 16, standing on the front lawn in Asheville, clutching a torn backpack, mascara running down my cheeks, my mom screaming at me from the porch. "Get out of my house, Madison. You want to act grown? Go be grown somewhere else." I begged. I cried. I swore I didn't do anything wrong. All I had was a boyfriend, a sweet guy from school. We held hands at the movies. We kissed at the park. That was enough for her to call me a slut and throw me into the street without a second thought. Dad? Long gone. Ran off when I was 12. Olivia, my baby sister, clung to Mom's leg, watching me with big, scared eyes. She didn't say a word. Not then. Not ever. I crashed at my best friend Lauren's house for the first week. Her parents fed me, let me sleep on their pull-out couch, helped me figure out what to do next. After that, it was survival mode. Before we go further, don't forget to like this story, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what happens next. I picked up shifts at a diner after school. Saved every dollar. Slept in my beat-up car some nights when Lauren's parents couldn't stretch their kindness any further. College? Not a chance. Not right away. I had to work. Had to live. Had to prove, to myself, to the world, that I didn't need anyone who could toss me aside so easily. Fast forward 10 years. At 26, I finally caught a break. Got a stable job in tech support. Saved enough for a down payment. Found a small fixer-upper near a quiet lake outside Asheville. It wasn't much. Peeling paint. Sagging porch. Yard full of weeds. But it was mine. I sanded the floors with my own hands. Painted the walls with bruised knuckles and a bruised heart. Built a life from the ashes they left me with. And for the first time since I was 16, I felt safe. Meanwhile, Mom and Olivia kept living their golden lives. At least from what I could see on Facebook. Mom posting selfies at brunch, caption blessed. Olivia posing at frat parties, beer cans stacked in pyramids behind her. No one ever called me. No one apologized. I was the black sheep, the problem child, the girl who ruined her own life. Until Olivia got pregnant. It was Lauren who told me first. Sent me a screenshot. Olivia, grinning wide, holding up a tiny onesie at her gender reveal party. The comments under the photo made my stomach turn. Mom, so proud of my baby girl. Can't wait to meet my grandchild. Family friends, Olivia, you're gonna be an amazing mother. And not a whisper about the fact she was 20, no job, no degree. Just endless praise. Meanwhile, when I held a boy's hand at 16, I was garbage. Disposable. Forgettable. I tried to ignore it. Tried to focus on repainting the dock out back. Tried to remember the life I built without them. But the bitterness chewed at me, raw and hot. I didn't owe them anything. Not my time. Not my heart. And definitely not my forgiveness. Then came the call. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Hello? Silence. Then Mom's voice, sugary sweet. Fake as hell. Maddie. Baby. How are you? I froze. First time hearing her voice in over 10 years. I pressed the phone tighter to my ear, heart hammering. Fine, I said stiffly. She laughed like we were old friends. Listen, honey, I was just thinking. You have that lovely house by the lake, don't you? I stayed silent. She plowed ahead. Olivia and Tyler, you remember Tyler, her fiancé, they're about to have the baby and, well, they really need a safe place to raise him. That neighborhood you're in, it's just perfect. I blinked. Slowly. You're kidding, I said flatly. She giggled. Of course not, sweetie. Family helps family. You have that whole house to yourself. It's selfish to keep it all when Olivia needs it more. Selfish. Selfish. I almost dropped the phone from laughing so hard. The same woman who dumped me on the curb at 16 was now calling me selfish because I wouldn't hand over the only home I ever built. I took a deep breath. Let me make this clear, I said. You threw me away. You treated me like garbage. You don't get to ask me for anything. Her tone sharpened. You owe us, Madison. Family sticks together. No, I said. Family doesn't throw you into the street. Family doesn't forget you exist. Family doesn't show up only when they need something. She sputtered. Tried to backpedal. I hung up. Blocked the number. Blocked Olivia. Blocked Tyler. Burned the bridges to ash. Or so I thought. Because 3 nights later, I woke up to the sound of metal scraping outside. Bruno hinges. A low grunt. I grabbed my phone and crept to the window. And there they were. Olivia and Tyler. Tyler swinging a crowbar at the front door like it was a piñata. Olivia clutching a baby carrier and shouting instructions. My blood went ice cold. They weren't asking anymore. They were taking. Or trying to. And they were about to learn the hard way. That I wasn't 16 anymore. And I wasn't scared. Not one damn bit. I didn't even hesitate. I grabbed my phone, heart pounding, and punched in 911. The dispatcher answered fast. 911, what's your emergency? My sister and her boyfriend are trying to break into my house, I said, voice low, sharp. They're using a crowbar. I'm inside. Are you safe? For now. We have officers on the way. Stay where you are. I backed away from the window, heart hammering so loud I was sure they could hear it outside. Another loud crack echoed through the house as Tyler slammed the crowbar against the door frame. The wood groaned, splintered. Olivia's voice drifted up through the night air. Hurry up. Madison's a coward. She won't do anything. I almost laughed. Coward? She had no idea who I was anymore. Blue lights flashed through the trees 5 minutes later. Not a second too soon. 2 sheriff's cruisers screeched into the driveway. Olivia screamed. Tyler dropped the crowbar and bolted, hauling Olivia behind him. The deputies were faster. One tackled Tyler into the dirt. The other grabbed Olivia as she flailed and cursed. I stayed inside, arms crossed, watching it all through the living room window. No mercy. No sympathy. Just cold satisfaction. A sharp knock at the door. I cracked it open to find a young deputy with kind eyes. Ma'am? You the homeowner? I nodded. Can you tell us what happened? I laid it all out. How they showed up in the middle of the night. How they tried to break the door down. How I had no contact with them after blocking their numbers. The deputy nodded, taking notes. You want to press charges? I didn't hesitate. Absolutely. They arrested both of them. Charged Tyler with attempted burglary and property damage. Charged Olivia with conspiracy and trespassing. Watching them get cuffed and shoved into separate cruisers was almost cathartic. Olivia screamed my name as they drove away. You're dead to me, Madison. I smiled. Good. Next day, the hate started. My phone blew up, even though I had changed my number. Voicemails from random family members I hadn't heard from in years. Angry Facebook messages from cousins I barely knew. Long, ranting posts calling me heartless, selfish, evil. You called the cops on your own sister. You ruined her life. Family is everything. How could you? You'll regret this when you're alone forever. I deleted it all. Blocked everyone. Made my social media private. Let them rage. I didn't know them a damn thing. Mom showed up 2 days later. Unannounced. Banging on my door like she owned the place. I didn't open it. Just stood there, staring through the peephole, arms folded. She kept pounding, shouting. Madison, you're disgusting. You betrayed us. You should be ashamed of yourself. You owe us everything. I waited until she ran out of breath. Until her fists hurt from pounding. Until her voice cracked. Then I finally opened the door just a crack. Met her bloodshot eyes. Get off my property, I said, voice ice cold. Or next time, ITLL be you getting hauled off in cuffs. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Good. I wasn't the scared little girl she threw out anymore. I was someone who survived. Who built walls she couldn't climb over anymore. She left eventually. Cursing. Sobbing. But she left. And she hasn't come back since. I thought maybe, that would be the end of it. Maybe they'd lick their wounds and move on. Find another target. Another victim. But then the letter came. Certified mail. Official looking. Inside, a notice of intent to pursue familial claim on jointly owed property. I blinked. Read it twice. Laughed so hard I nearly fell off the porch steps. They were trying to sue me. Sue me for the lake house. Claiming emotional damages and rightful inheritance. Claiming I stole what should have been family property. Claiming I was legally obligated to share my home. I called Mr. Brown. Sent him a photo of the letter. His reply came back in seconds. Baseless. Laughable. Tell them to go pound sand. Still, it rattled me. The sheer audacity. The willingness to drag this into the dirt. The way they twisted reality like it was a game. Like I didn't earn every inch of freedom I had clawed back with blood and bone. But if they wanted a war? Fine. They picked the wrong girl. I filed for a restraining order the same day. Cited the break-in. The harassment. The threats. By the time court rolled around, I had a stack of evidence so thick it needed its own binder. The judge barely glanced at their pathetic claim before tossing it. Granted my restraining order immediately. 3 years. Minimum. If they so much as set foot on my driveway, they'd go straight to jail. Olivia wasn't at the hearing. Too embarrassed maybe. Or too cowardly. But Tyler showed up. Glared at me across the courtroom. Tried to intimidate me. I smiled sweetly. Waved. Watched his face turn red with rage. When it was all over, I walked out into the sunshine feeling lighter than I had in years. Freer. Stronger. But deep down I knew. People like them. They don't just slink away quietly. They plot. They stew. They wait. And I wasn't about to let my guard down. Not yet. Not ever. The first thing I did after the court hearing was drive straight to a security store. I wasn't playing anymore. New locks. New cameras. New alarm system wired straight to the local police department. If anyone so much as sneezed near my property, I'd know. And they'd pay. The guy behind the counter, a burly dude named Wes, helped me pick everything out. Motion lights. Shatterproof windows. Reinforced doors. You building a fortress or a house? He joked. I smiled tightly. Both. He didn't ask any more questions. Just helped me load everything into my car. Installing it all took a week. A week of drilling, hammering, programming. Every beep of the new alarm system made me feel lighter. Stronger. Safer. Chloe came over to help one evening. She whistled low when she saw the cameras blinking above the porch. Damn, Madison. Are you expecting the Terminator? I laughed. If Olivia and Tyler come back, I want to catch every second in 4K. She grinned. Proud of you. I shrugged. I'm tired of being the one who's scared. Chloe sobered. You shouldn't have to be. None of this is your fault. I knew that. But sometimes the scars still whispered otherwise. After everything was installed, I sat on my porch swing, sipping sweet tea, watching the sunset bleed across the lake. It should have felt peaceful. And mostly, it did. But there was still a knot in my chest. Still a tiny voice in the back of my mind whispering, this isn't over. And it wasn't. The next attack came online. Of course. Anonymous posts popping up in local Facebook groups. Lies. Slander. Beware of Madison Parker, heartless woman who threw her pregnant sister into the streets. Some people just don't deserve family. Can you imagine ruining your own blood's life over a little house? The comments exploded. Strangers judging me, calling me names, demanding my address so they could talk some sense into me. I wanted to scream, wanted to punch a wall. But instead, I documented everything, screenshotted every post, saved every comment, filed a new harassment report, added it to my growing mountain of evidence. Still, it hurt. It burned. Because no matter how strong you are, no matter how much armor you build around your heart, words still cut. Especially when they come from the people who were supposed to love you most. Chloe showed up with a bottle of wine and a giant chocolate cake. Social media is poison, she said, shoving cake into my hand. Block. Report. Move on. I nodded. But the ache didn't go away. Not right away. A few days later, it got worse. Anonymous letters started arriving. Threats. Vile, cruel things scrawled in ugly handwriting. You'll rot alone. No one will ever love you. You deserve everything bad that happens to you. I turned every letter over to the police. Filed more reports. Officer Daniels, the one who'd handled the break-in, promised to keep a closer eye on the property. We'll catch whoever's doing this, he said grimly. I believed him. Sort of. But the real war? It wasn't outside. It was inside. Fighting not to let their hate eat me alive. One rainy afternoon, sitting on my couch with Bruno at my feet, I hit my breaking point. Tears burned my eyes. I hated crying. Hated feeling weak. But damn it, it hurt. How could the people who raised me turn into monsters? How could they twist love into a weapon? Bruno whined and laid his head on my lap. I stroked his ears, trying to breathe. I'm not them, I whispered, over and over, like a prayer. I'm not them. That night, I made a decision. No more hiding. No more shrinking. No more letting them write my story for me. I opened my laptop, logged into Facebook, and posted. My story. At 16, I was thrown out of my home by the people who were supposed to love me. I built my life from nothing. I worked. I struggled. I survived. Now, years later, those same people are trying to take what I built. They spread lies. They harass me. They threaten me. But I'm not that scared girl anymore. I will not be bullied. I will not be silenced. I will not apologize for protecting the life I fought so hard to create. If you believe blood is thicker than self-respect, feel free to leave. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the ones who know that sometimes. Family isn't who you're born with. It's who stands with you when the world falls apart. I hit post, turned off my phone, and for the first time in weeks, I slept like a baby. The fallout came fast. Some people unfriended me. Good riddance. Some messaged me privately, told me they were proud, told me they understood, told me they had lived the same nightmare. I wasn't alone. Not anymore. A week later, I got a letter from the county courthouse. Olivia and Tyler tried to file another claim, tried to sue me for emotional damages again. But this time, the judge threw it out immediately, declared it malicious litigation, filed a warning against them. If they tried anything else, they'd be fined thousands. Real consequences. Finally, it was over. Really, truly over. I stood on the dock that evening, watching the sunset bleed across the water. Bruno sat beside me, tail wagging. I breathed deep, tasted the cold, clean air. And for the first time in a long, long time, I felt free. But even as the peace settled over me, I knew. Freedom wasn't something you win once and keep forever. You fight for it every damn day. You protect it like your life depends on it. Because sometimes it does. It had been a month since the last letter. A month of silence. A month of peace. The lake thawed early that year. The air smelled like wet earth and fresh grass. I thought maybe, just maybe, the nightmare was finally over. Then one afternoon, coming back from the grocery store, I saw her. Standing on my front porch. Olivia. She looked different. Thinner. Paler. Hair a mess. Clothes hanging off her like they belonged to someone else. The baby carrier at her feet was empty. She wrung her hands, shifting from foot to foot, eyes darting everywhere except at me. I stayed in the car for a full minute, heart hammering against my ribs. Every instinct screamed drive away. But I didn't. I got out. Slow. Cautious. Bruno growled low in his throat from the passenger seat. Good boy. When Olivia saw me, she flinched like I slapped her. Madison, she croaked. I didn't say a word. Just stared. Waiting. She licked her lips. I need to talk. Still, I said nothing. She took a shaky breath. I'm sorry. I raised an eyebrow. Sorry you tried to steal my house? Or sorry you vandalized my car? Or sorry you spread lies about me online? She winced. I didn't mean for it to get that bad. I laughed. Short. Bitter. You showed up with a crowbar, Olivia. She looked down at her shoes. I was scared. Tyler. He said if we didn't get the house, we'd lose everything. I folded my arms. And that's my problem, how? Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't know what else to do. You could have worked. Saved. Done what the rest of us do. She shook her head. I wasn't strong like you. That stopped me cold. I didn't know what I expected her to say. But not that. Still, I didn't move. Didn't soften. Didn't forget. You have 5 minutes, I said flatly. Then you leave. She nodded quickly. Swiped at her eyes. I left him, she said. Tyler. After everything. After the court stuff, he got worse. Started drinking. Started hitting. My stomach twisted. Not with sympathy. Not yet. But with something close. Olivia sniffed. I have nothing, Maddie. No money. No friends. No home. She looked up at me, eyes wide and pleading. Can I stay with you? Just for a little while? Just until I get back on my feet? The world tilted. For a second, I was 16 again. Standing on the front lawn. Backpack in hand. Mom screaming. Doors slamming. I took a deep breath. Felt the weight of every scar. Every betrayal. Every night spent wondering why I wasn't enough. No, I said. Her face crumpled. Please, she whispered. You made your choices, I said. You burned your bridges. You tried to destroy me. But we're family. She sobbed. I shook my head. Family isn't blood, Olivia. It's loyalty. It's respect. It's love. She sank to her knees, hands clutching at the empty baby carrier. I have nowhere else. You had a choice, I said, voice cold as stone. You chose Tyler. You chose Mom. You chose to hurt me. I turned, walked up the steps, and opened my front door. Bruno barked once, low and sharp. Olivia flinched. I looked back one last time. You're not welcome here, I said. Then I shut the door, locked it, bolted it, and didn't look back. She stayed on the porch for a long time. I heard her crying through the door, heard her cursing, heard her pleading, but I didn't open it. Not this time. Not ever again. Eventually, she left, dragging the empty carrier down the driveway. Head bowed, broken, just like she tried to break me. I collapsed onto the couch, heart pounding, staring at the ceiling. Bruno jumped up beside me, resting his big head on my lap. I buried my fingers in his fur. Breathed. Let the weight of it all settle. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't heartless. I was surviving. I was choosing me. Finally. A week later, I heard through the grapevine that Olivia checked into a women's shelter downtown. Started therapy. Started working part-time at a diner. Maybe she was really changing. Maybe she wasn't. But that wasn't my story to worry about anymore. That chapter was closed. Locked. Sealed. Meanwhile, I lived. Really lived. Cooked dinner barefoot in my kitchen. Planted flowers by the dock. Watched Bruno chase dragonflies across the yard. Peace wasn't something I found. It was something I fought for. Every damn day. Until one evening, checking my mailbox, I found another letter. Different this time. Handwritten. Shaky. Inside, a folded scrap of paper. 3 words. Thank you anyway. No signature. No demands. Just that. I stood there on the porch for a long time, staring at the lake, feeling the sun on my face. Maybe Olivia would be okay. Maybe not. But me? I was more than okay. I was free. And I was never, ever giving that up again. It started with a knock at the door one Thursday morning. When I opened it, Olivia stood there, different this time. Shoulders squared. Eyes clear. Holding her little boy against her hip. No screaming. No begging. Just quiet. "Can we talk?" she asked. I nodded and let her in. She sat at the kitchen table, shifting nervously, the baby tugging at her shirt. "I moved into the women's shelter," she said. "Got a job at the diner in town. I'm in the recovery program. Therapy. Parenting classes. Everything." I raised an eyebrow. She smiled, small but real. "I screwed up, Maddie. Big time. But I'm trying." For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "Good," I said. And I meant it. We started seeing each other now and then. Coffee after her shifts. Walks by the lake. Not best friends overnight. Not even close. But rebuilding something real, tiny brick by tiny brick. And that's when Mom found out. She showed up at Olivia's shelter one evening. Caused a scene, shouting about how Olivia was an unfit mother, a disgrace to the family. She demanded custody of the baby. Claimed Olivia was mentally unstable and couldn't be trusted with a child. Filed official paperwork trying to get temporary guardianship. It was a move so vile, so manipulative, even I felt my stomach churn. Olivia called me in tears. "They're trying to take him, Maddie. I can't lose him. He's all I have." "You want," I said. "Not if I can help it." I connected her with a lawyer I knew, pro bono, through a legal aid group. We filed countersuits. Got statements from the shelter staff, the therapist, her employer. Built a wall of proof so high, Mom couldn't even see over it. The court hearing was brutal. Mom marched in dress like she was going to war, black dress, pearl necklace, fake tears ready. She painted Olivia as a monster. A dangerous, irresponsible, incompetent girl who needed to be stripped of her child. When it was Olivia's turn to speak, she stood tall. Voice steady. Hand shaking a little, but never breaking. "I made mistakes," she said. "But I am not who I was. I am clean. I am stable. And I will fight for my son with everything I have." I sat in the back row, fists clenched so hard my nails bit into my palms. The judge ruled in Olivia's favor. Full custody retained. Restraining order issued against Mom for harassment. Mom stormed out of the courtroom without looking back. Not a word to Olivia. Not a word to me. Nothing. Later that night, I found a post on Facebook. Mom had changed her profile picture to some stock photo of a rose and written, "Sad how some daughters end up just like their worthless fathers." Trash breeds trash. No names. No direct accusations. But everyone knew exactly who she meant. Chloe sent me a screenshot, fuming. "You want me to clap back?" she asked. I smiled and shook my head. Let her rot in her bitterness. And I meant it. Her words couldn't touch me anymore. Not here. Not now. Not ever. A few weeks later, the universe threw me another surprise. I ran into Ethan, the boy I dated when I was 16. The boy Mom had kicked me out over. He was standing in line at the coffee shop, wearing an old army jacket and a tired smile. We both froze. Then we both laughed. Because what else could you do? Turns out he'd joined the military after high school. Done his tours. Come back home to start over. "I always wondered about you," he said, scratching the back of his neck. "Me too," I admitted. We sat down with our coffees and talked for hours. Not about the past. Not about regrets. Just about now. About who we'd become. About the people we wanted to be. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't movie magic. It was quiet. Easy. Real. The kind of beginning that doesn't burn out in a flash, the kind that grows steady and strong. Like roots. Like home. For the first time in my life, I wasn't chasing approval. Wasn't fighting to be seen. I was just living. And it felt damn good. But I knew deep down. Mom wasn't done. Not yet. People like her don't know how to lose quietly. They claw and scratch and spit their venom until they choke on it. And I was ready. Ready for whatever came next. It didn't take long for Mom's bitterness to rot its way across Facebook. Every other day, a new post. Thinly veiled jabs aimed straight at me and Olivia. Amazing how some girls inherit their daddy's worthless blood instead of their mother's strength. Some people just aren't fit to be mothers or daughters. Ungrateful brats think they know everything until life teaches them a lesson. Friends, distant relatives, old neighbors, they ate it up. Commenting with sad faces, praying hands, and "Stay strong, hon." Most of them didn't even know the real story. Didn't care to know. They liked the drama better. Olivia texted me one night after another post went viral among our old town circles. "Ignore her," she wrote. "She's desperate. She's losing her audience." I stared at my screen for a long time before answering. She already lost us. That's what matters. And it was true. She could scream into the void all she wanted. But we weren't listening anymore. Meanwhile, life was moving on. Olivia got a tiny 2-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, peeling paint, creaky floors, but it was hers. She invited me over one Saturday afternoon. The place smelled like laundry soap and baby lotion. Her little boy toddled around, giggling wildly. She looked tired, sure, but she also looked strong, stronger than I'd ever seen her. "You did it," I said, handing her a coffee. She smiled, eyes misty. "No, we did it. As for me, well, Ethan and I started seeing each other more. Coffee dates turned into walks around the lake. Walks turned into dinners. Dinners into lazy mornings watching the sun rise over the water. He never rushed me, never pushed, just stood steady beside me, no matter how many walls I still had up. "You don't have to be perfect," he said once, wrapping his arms around me on the porch. "I'm not trying to be," I whispered. "I'm just trying to be me." And for the first time in my life, that felt like enough. We were sitting by the dock one evening, toes dipped in the cool water, when he pulled something out of his jacket pocket. A small, simple box. My heart stuttered. He opened it to reveal a silver necklace, delicate, beautiful, with a tiny charm shaped like a compass. "For finding your own way," he said, voice rough. Tears burned my eyes. I wasn't expecting it, wasn't ready for it, but I wore that necklace every day after. A reminder of how far I'd come, of how much I deserved. Meanwhile, Mom kept posting, kept ranting, kept throwing stones from her glass house. But her words were just noise now, static in the background of a life too full, too beautiful to hear her hate over. The old Madison would have tried to fix it, would have written long, pleading messages begging for peace, would have cried herself to sleep, wondering why love always had to hurt so much. The Madison sitting on her own dock, hand wrapped in Ethan's, smiling at the sky? She didn't beg anymore. She didn't apologize for surviving. She didn't shrink to fit into someone else's small, broken world. I built something they couldn't touch. A life full of real love, real peace, real family, the kind you choose. And they could never take that away from me. Not with their gossip. Not with their lawsuits. Not with their bitterness. Nothing. One evening, as the sun melted into the lake and the first stars blinked awake in the sky, Ethan nudged me. "Ever think about getting out of here for a while?" I blinked. "Like a trip?" He grinned. "Maybe more than that. Fresh start. New town. New everything." I stared at the water, heart pounding. A fresh start. A real one. Not running away, but running towards something better. Something bigger. Something mine. I turned to him and smiled. "Yeah," I said. "Yeah, I think I'm ready." Because home wasn't 4 walls or a family tree. Home was peace. Home was safety. Home was choosing yourself, again and again, no matter who tried to tear you down. And for the first time in my life, I was finally home. Wherever I went next, whatever I built, it would be mine. Mine to protect. Mine to love. Mine to live. And what about you? Have you ever had to walk away from someone who was supposed to love you? Did you rebuild stronger, or are you still finding your way? Tell me in the comments. Your story deserves to be heard. And if this story touched something in you, subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone who needs hope, and remember, you are not what they tried to break. You are what you chose to become. Always.